Shalom Aleichem, Mishnah Yomi, pre-recorded for Shabbat Bereshit, Mazel Tov, and I hope everyone had a wonderful Simchat Torah, is in chapter 8, Bava Metzia, Mishnayot Zayin Chet, Hamaskir Bayet L'Chavero. Somebody rents out his house to somebody else. Hamaskir Chayev Bedelet. The owner, the landlord, must provide the door. Benagar, and also the bolt for the door, manul, the lock, to lock the door from the outside, davar shemase uman, anything that is, complex, that requires a craftsman to actually repair it or create it. That is the responsibility of the landlord to provide the tenant. Of all davar she'eino maaseh uman hasocher osehu, but something that doesn't require expertise, the renter has to do it for himself or fix it for himself. For example, the makeh, the railing around the roof, was considered an example of something the Gemara gives that the renter should be able to fix himself. Hazevel, what about manure? Shel balabait, it belongs to the landowner. Now we're talking about a situation, the Gemara explains, where he rented the house, the building, but not the chatzer, the courtyard, in front of the building. So if other people happen to park their animals there and those animals create manure, it still belongs to the landowner, even though the tenant has the right to go through that courtyard and park his own animals in that courtyard too. Only the manure from his own animals really belong to him. The Mishnah continues, the renter doesn't get only the ashes and the coals left over in the oven and in the stove. So usually the oven was out in the chatzar, so you don't fill the house with smoke. And sometimes the owner would let other people use the oven. So if they use the oven and there's some ashes, some coals there, he would get to use that. That's part of his scope of his rental. On to Mishnah Chet, Hamaskir Bayit L'Chaver L'Shana. Someone rents a home to someone else for a whole year. Nit Abra Hashana. And the year became pregnant, became a leap year. They added a month to the year. Recall from Rosh Hashanah, they used to make calculations about when it was necessary or appropriate to add Adar Sheni, to add a 13th month to the Jewish calendar. So what do we do with this rental? Nit abra l'socher. The Mishnah says the renter actually gets the benefit of that extra month. So he would stay in the house for the whole year, but he wouldn't have to pay an additional month's rent for the additional month because he had rented the house for the year. But hiskir lo chodoshim, if it was a month-by-month rental, nit abra shana, and then it became a leap year, nit abra lemaskir, then the renter, the property owner, gets the benefit of that month. The renter would have to pay for 13 months in that case. Now the Mishnah brings an example, which is neither and both. Maaseh b'tzipori. And in Tzipori, this actually happens. Someone rented a bathhouse from the owner of the bathhouse. Obviously, the renter is going to use it and make money off of it. The rate was 12 gold for the year, midinar zahav l'chodesh. And it said a dinar zahav per month. So the contract or the agreement that was made, perhaps verbally, orally, was mentioned both the year and by month. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel with Rabbi Yossi, and so it happened. The leap year, it became a leap year. They added a month, and they said, "Well, what do we do now?" Because the agreement was mentioned both the years and the month. They said, "Yachloku et chodesh ibar." They said they should split the additional month. Now, the simple meaning of this is the renter would pay half a dinar in rent for that month. But in the Gemara, they explain there's actually a chazaka here. It shouldn't be a yachlok, it should be a chazaka of whoever is sort of the muchzak, the one most connected to that month, would get it. And they explain in the Gemara, the Kati brings an explanation here. The Gemara, they explain a really interesting thing. If they come at the beginning of the month, the landlord is saying at the beginning of this additional month, hey, I need to get rent for this additional month, he has the chazaka. If it had already ended, the month was already up, and the landlord said, hey, you owe me rent for this extra month, then the leaser would have the benefit, and if they come in the middle of the month, they would indeed split it. Yashar kochachem tizku lemitzvot.